Alright, I'm going to be playing in Penny Dreadful Friday with High Tide again. This list is a little leaner. Has one more strategic planning, one copy of Sea Beyond. Because there are a lot of bad cards in the deck that you don't want. Like, you don't want to draw Desire early. You don't want Commit, Fae of Wishes. Typically. Sometimes you don't want Repeal. And otherwise the main is mostly the same. I added a Commit, and then I added those two. I took out Finale of Revelation and a Desire, because I think that you don't really want to draw those cards until you're already going off. And then Commit. I don't think you ever really... Like, Finale is really never better than Memory, I think. Really the only downside is sometimes you can't get it out of your hand without just casting Commit on the Storm turn. But I don't think that's enough of a downside, because you're never whiffing off of Memory if you have mana. And then the sideboard, I added an offer you can't refuse instead of the Either Spike, because it's really good in the mirror, for one. And I don't know, that's really it. It's better in the mirror, and kind of the same against other things. Maybe it's worse, I don't know. And I might have added an Unable to Scream, added Vantress Gargoyle, both for White Weenie and Boros Legends. I think the matchup against Boros Legends and White Weenie is actually not that bad. It's probably something like 45-55. I initially thought it was almost impossible to win, but you can actually play cards like Baral to stall, and then Unable to Scream is a really good removal spell for Thalia. And they really have nothing else relevant. Sometimes they play Canonist. They should really be playing Silence, but Canonist, you answer the same way. You can just repeal it too, especially if you have a Sapphire and they don't have a Thalia, then it's just super easy to repeal or commit it. And yeah, I think this deck is actually a lot better than I initially thought, because I thought the White Weenie and Boros Legends matchup was pretty unwinnable. But now that I think it's only a little unfavored, I think that this could actually be one of the best decks in the format. It's losing to those decks, but probably only by a little bit, which means it really doesn't have many bad matchups. Because other than like Thalia decks, it's really just... I mean, I don't think there are really any faster combo decks you actually lose to. There's Oopsal Lands, but that isn't really a deck, and it's not even necessarily bad if you have counter spells. So what are you actually losing to is the question. I don't think it loses to any him decks, really. I think it beats Orzhov Control, though maybe it's even-ish. It's probably not favored by that much, but I think it is favored against every him deck. So this deck is actually really good, I think. Alright, it is round 1. This hand is good. I'm cycling Sandbar on 1. Throwing back the Fae, because you never want this in your opener. And it is better to cycle the Sandbar here, with a strategic planning to find a land, as well as Sandbar cantripping. This could be Control. It's probably more of a mid-range deck, considering who my opponent is. I think they played some kind of Orzhov mid-range earlier this season. Could be Control. That looks more like Control. Start with planning, I think. I think I play this to play around him. I don't think I need Desire here. They're definitely on for him, so I really want to play around that. Okay, this is definitely Control. They have the him, which is why I played Pieces. Sea Beyond. It's gotta be Sapphire, I think. So I should be able to win next turn. Hopefully they don't have another him. Kaya? Okay, that's a little annoying. I think I do actually exile a card instead of tapping a land in case I find something. That's not good. I think I find island and discard it. That is not good. That is some really bad draws. I really want a memory or something. Probably just discard Sapphire. Yeah, it really needs some kind of value here. That was a terrible dig. Only hit one value card and it was a cantrip. So now if they have anything that makes me discard, this is really bad for me. Yeah. Yeah, that was a really bad draw. This should be an unlosable matchup, I mean. In game one should be unlosable. But sometimes you just don't try anything. I am probably still winning though, with that draw. I do get rid of that. I just need that out of my hand anyway. And I probably just want to go off here. Because they are getting Kaya back, and probably have something else. Okay, that's a really good draw. That was a great sequence of draws, but I got unlucky before that, so it evens out. They should just win. I haven't whiffed off a memory this season yet. So what is Faye getting? I'm probably playing Desire first. And just holding this until I have the mana to Blue Suns. Which should be right after this. Yeah, that should be enough mana already. So I grab Blue Suns and win. Okay. Game 2 is where it gets interesting because they have probably like 3 copies of Lost Legacy. That's how many I was playing, and this looks like my list. Well, it's not necessarily my list, but I played both Aggro Mauling and Monumental Henge. And they didn't play, and I played Profane Tutor as well. And my list also just got net decked a lot. So most lists are actually that list. Which is maybe unfortunate. I don't know if people would be playing Lost Legacy otherwise, or how many. That does mean they aren't playing Vindicate most likely. Which is okay. It doesn't matter that much. So, Rise from the Tides, I don't like this, really. I don't know if they actually side out that many Wraths. I could play Offer to try to counter the Lost Legacy. It's not great, though. I really don't want to give them treasures. Though it's not that bad, I guess. Strings is a lot worse. I guess I get rid of a Sea Beyond. It's kind of a card that you just always side out, I guess. Maybe do this. I don't know if I want all of these. So this counters Lost Legacy and him, I guess. But if you counter him, they play Kaya next turn. That's not that bad, though. Maybe it's worse than letting him resolve. I don't know. Rise. So the only way you're casting this and then casting Turnabout is if you're actually going off. And if you're doing that, the only way it's relevant is if they Lost Legacy tied. But if they're... I mean, I don't know if it actually matters if you have several copies of it, because you could just play Fae for the Rise after they extract Tide, if you're playing Mind's Desire. But I don't know. I guess See Beyond. It's probably better than Hidden Strings. But maybe Strings is good if they extract Tide because it builds Storm. And it's kind of hard to build Storm without it, I guess. It's just Turnabout to make mana. This isn't a great hand. But I guess I'll keep. You don't really want to mull against a him deck, and it's functional. It's fully functional. It's just a little awkward. Or just inefficient. Sapphire is good, but I'm not sure that it matters. Okay, no him. I assume they would have played it if they had it. So, they have Heliod's in the sideboard most likely. I don't know if they brought it in. Probably not, right? And they have Abstruse. What is this? Okay, it is the Lost Legacy. So it's probably good that I have Sapphire then. I wonder what they Lost Legacy next if they have another one. It could be Desire. It's probably Turnabout. That'd probably be correct. There's nothing that immediately ends it, though, for a second Lost Legacy. I don't want to get rid of Fae. I can just memory it back, probably. It's probably Strings. It kind of has to be Strings, right? Because I already have Desire. But I imagine they named Desire. But they should probably name Turnabout. But no one names Turnabout, I think. They have it. No, they have Firina. Yeah, this is definitely my list, I think. Which means they probably don't have any Vindicates. Okay, Turnabout. Though I do need more lands before I go off, I think. Well, it doesn't really matter right now. Because I just have no value. But I think if I draw a card draw spell, I will go off next turn. But yeah, I don't think I can really do it right now. Kaya doesn't actually matter. And so basically they have to draw something. Kaya's Gaia wouldn't really matter. They really have to draw him or Lost Legacy, I think. Or I guess they could Abstruse, which they could already have in hand. That would be annoying. Because it means I can't play cards before I go off. That's kind of the biggest fear, I guess. Or just them drawing a thing, but I'm kind of expecting them to not. Because I can't really... I don't think I ever go off just because they could have it. Especially since it's a lot harder to go off when you don't have Tide in the deck. So a Desire is likely to whiff, because even mana plus card draw is not enough to win. It doesn't help that I only have 3 Desires. This is definitely the worst time to have less Desires, when they have a Lost Legacy. Okay, they do nothing relevant. They could have Abstruse. I assume they would have played it, but maybe not. Maybe they value pressuring more. So maybe I could wait. Okay, what does that mean? That means I'd never go off right now. Because it doesn't do anything for helping me go off, really. Really, the only thing it does is... Because I would need to discard it first. And the best way to do that is just to counter something. So Kaya's Guile, if they just do nothing and hold up Kaya's Guile, then it's pretty dead. But I still got a land in play, I guess. They actually do nothing. I assume they don't have anything other than Kaya's Guile. But this is probably Guile. If it's Abstruse, then I lose, but... Okay. This could be either. It's Guile, okay. Turnabout? Well, I guess I'm just doing this. Maybe I should wait. I don't know. There's no reason to ever hold a turnabout, right? It's never gonna make more mana. And Building Storm is really important. Okay, that's really good. I do have another memory, which is really important to get more turnabouts. But because I wouldn't be able to turnabout on upkeep otherwise. So double pieces. So I find another Desire and I guess I take Peer over it. Maybe that's a mistake actually. That's probably a mistake. Offer? Offer is actually good here. So if I find the Rise from the Tides, I win right now, I think. Well, no. Offer isn't enough. I really want a memory first. Okay. So... double offer, I guess. That should be enough. I can probably do better than this, but do I really need to? Actually, I should count. That's 13. It's not enough. I need to play pieces. I got 2 cards. Should probably play something else. Commit, that's good. That's very good. Yeah, and I knew about that, so. But I kind of forgot. Actually, I need to play Peer first. No reason not to. I guess I'll say no. Okay. So I have 3 counter spells up. So that's putting me to 3. That doesn't matter. I never commit this. Well, I guess 7 mana Kaya. So maybe I do commit it. I guess I will. Well, no, I can just counter 7 mana Kaya. I was thinking she couldn't be countered, but yeah. I just don't counter. I'd never commit this. I just hold up 3 counter spells and there's nothing my opponent can have here. Well, I guess they could maybe have something with him. Because I'd be forced to counter that. And then I guess it is essentially 0 mana if I'm using Offer. But, okay, so they don't attack with the Spirit. Interesting. I don't think there's anything they can have, though. Okay. So they die here. I mean, I guess they could have tried to play Condemn or something. They're trying to Kai'Skyle. Heliod's to gain life. Would that have been enough? Yes, it would have been more than enough. But, yeah, I just had 3 counters up. So yeah, that's kind of how you win when they extract Tide. You play your Sapphires, and then you go off with Desire. And you play Rise, you hold up Turnabout, and I use it on upkeep. Or just hold up the counter spells, I guess. But usually I wouldn't be playing Offer. So, that's round 1. Alright, it is round 2. I'm 1-0. I don't know what my opponent is on. This hand is okay. Cycle the Sandbar, play Sapphire, do something with Pier. Maybe win on turn 4. Forest. I don't know what this is. I assume they don't have a whole lot of interaction for me. They could definitely have some kind of disenchant, though. That is not a good draw. I can maybe just use that right now. I should probably be playing some kind of value card in the Fae of Wishes. Maybe I could play Desire and then slide it in against Lost Legacy decks, I don't know. Okay, that's a lot of card draw. I could get Blue Suns. Maybe I will, actually. I could get Rise from the Tides as well. If they're playing a combo deck, that's bad. I don't know what they're playing, though. And Rise would only make like 3 or 4 things. So, what is it? It could be a repeal. Is it really Blue Suns? I feel like Blue Suns is kind of bad here. I would love to peer into Pieces. I feel like Granted is just a better use of mana, though. I can just peer on the Tide turn. I think I will get Blue Suns. And then if I peer into a Tide or Turnabout, it's really good. I wonder what they're doing. Probably some kind of mid-range deck. I don't know what kind of decks want library. Okay, it's Gruul or Ramp. It's probably not aggro. Okay, it's Gruul, 4 power creatures. Okay, this should be an unlosable matchup in every game, but okay, do I actually want to go off? Probably not. I go Tide, Pier to 5. There isn't a whole lot of reason to go off, other than that they have a million draws. So they draw any disruption they have, but there's just no way they have disruption, I think. So this is 4 cards before Desire. Why not? This is a terrible play. Like, this is clearly incorrect, but so if you're watching this to try to learn how to play Tide, don't do that. Just wait until you need to go off. I maybe should have played Blue Suns first. I don't know. So I do just win now. Okay. Is this enough mana already? I think that's 4 Tides. Maybe I should have counted first. I think this is enough though. Yeah, for sure. Oh, I almost pressed tap. Okay, this should be an unlosable matchup. I don't know what they could possibly have that does anything. I mean, they could be on Panza. There's no way they're playing Uprising in Panza, though. I guess they could slide into it. But I feel like that's not very likely, and even if they do, it's probably 8 cards at most. Though, it is really easy for this deck to get scammed by Panza. So, I don't know what they could have. So how do I sideboard? Do I do anything? I feel like a Rise is really good at winning the game here, but it's kind of unnecessary. I feel like a draw spell would be better, because it increases consistency. And like, why would I need to Rise? I could just win the game instead. They're not really stopping me from doing that other than by maybe affecting my mana. And then I just can't Rise anyway. Repeal would be better on the draw, but I think I keep it in. Because I don't think any of these cards are better. Yeah, I'll just resubmit. Like, I don't know what this deck can possibly do to Tide. Like, I guess they could have Panza plus Artifact 8. I just don't think they have Panza, though. I guess it's still possible for them to be a combo deck. I really doubt there's any kind of combo deck that would want Uprising. I mean, I don't think there's any deck that really wants Uprising, but what kind of combo deck would be playing Uprising? I don't think there's any. And in Gruul, there's not a whole lot of combo, just in general. Gruul is not really a color that has combos. I mean, they could be on more colors, but considering their mana base, that doesn't seem likely. They played a Gruul check in some forests. I did not mean to do that. Okay. I should maybe... Okay. Wild Growth. Good card. But yeah, you can't... I feel like Ramp just doesn't work in PD. Though Wild Growth is definitely one of the best ramp cards we've ever had. But, like, what are you ramping into that does anything? I guess Senior Vines is pretty good here. I wonder if they think this is relevant. Like, it's... You always have to kill Sapphire right now. Unless you have a really good 4-drop. But you really should be killing this right now. I mean, is it planning? It's definitely Sapphire, I think. It could be a land, but I like going Sapphire. I wonder... So, they might think that since I have 2, it doesn't really matter that they kill one, which would be wrong, but... I do really need to find a Tide. Like, surely they kill a Sapphire here. So, I need a Tide at some point. Alright, maybe Pure was a mistake because it's an instant. Okay, there's Tide. So, I can only go off if they don't activate in response. Which is a very dangerous game. I feel like there's not a whole lot of reason to do that. I mean, they could play a haste creature, but I could turnabout if they do that. Yeah, that is way too risky. So I'm planning on a repeal the Cinder Vines. So I am kind of dead to a Burst Lightning. I considered upkeep turnabout for lands, but I don't really want them to just play a land to have Cinder Vines up. So maybe that was correct. Because it beats Burst Lightning. Yeah, I guess that was probably correct. I am just dead to Burst Lightning. Like, there's nothing I can do about a kicked Burst Lightning. I wonder if that's what they have. So, they can't do it now. There's really nothing relevant here unless it's either Burn or Artifact Hate. Okay, that does absolutely nothing. I don't know why they did that. Because now they just can't activate Cinder Vines. Oh, I forgot about the second one. The second Sapphire. But, yeah, it is just over now. Yeah, I think they overestimated the value of the passive of Cinder Vines. Like, the activated ability is a lot more relevant against me. If I have a Sapphire in play, of course. Okay, so I will make 1,000,000 mana and memory. Alright, the game is over. I think there are 15 players in the tournament, so you can't make it at 2-2 to top 4. And if I start 3-0, there's really no way I miss top 4, because winning quickly is a lot better for your OMW. And even if I lose the next round and win the one after, then I should still pretty easily make it. I don't know why I tapped my lands there. I was thinking I had played one more Tide. But I think this is enough mana for Fae. Oh, and I actually have the Fae in hand already. I didn't think I did. But I find Blue Suns and win. So I actually would be kind of weak to a hexproof or shroud thing like Blossoming Calm, which I don't think is legal. But I would be kind of weak for that because I can't turnabout. Though I would still have counter spells plus Engulf the Shore to hit their creatures. So yeah, 2-0. Alright, it's round 3. I'm 2-0. Facing a Luris deck. I don't know what this is. Is it Legends? It might be. This isn't a great hand against Legends. Yeah, this is a terrible hand against Legends. They really need to not have Thalia. Okay, that's a great draw for against Legends. I wonder if they know what I'm on. I've been playing Tide for the last 3 tournaments, so they might know that I'm on Tide and mull for Thalia. Okay, that's a really good start for me. They didn't even play another creature first. What does that mean? Like, they always play Mary here, right? So they could have a 1-drop and not a 3rd 1-drop. Why would they not play something else first, though? This could be the Exile. There we go. Ash. Okay. So I am dead next turn. Yeah. I mean, I feel like a turn 4 kill is just scarier than Thalia, honestly. Which I think most of my opponents don't realize, and they go too heavily on the Thalia plan, when they can just go for a turn 4 kill, and I never beat that really, if they're on the play. Because, okay, that's how I beat it. Okay. So I go Tide Strings. Desire would be great here. So Desire kind of wins. Some other things can win. Dig, for one. Okay, that's really good. Pieces was also pretty good. But yeah, I just get Desire and win. Easy turn 3 kill with 3 Tides and a Sea Beyond, which is actually better than any kind of dig spell because it got me 2 relevant cards, which I needed. Though I could have gotten like a Pieces or Dig, I think. I don't know. This looks like it wins. Has Pieces and mana. Only 2 mana things. Okay, this is not a great hit, but it still should win. I just have to not whiff off Pieces. Okay, that was kinda close to a whiff. But I got memory. Okay, I might not need the memory. There's no reason to... So if I had value in exile, then I could play memory and then basically guarantee that I don't whiff. But okay, so what am I doing? Dig Pier? I think I want to avoid using memory if possible. Okay, that's not great. Probably will have to play the memory regardless. I would like to play a Desire first, though. Okay. I think I take Desire here. Oh, I have plenty of mana. So I go Desire and then Memory, and I never whiff after that, and I have plenty of mana to Blue Suns. So I just go Turnabout, Memory, and the game is over. I can play Pieces if I really want to. Right, I kinda have to. Do I? No, I just play the cards from hand. Wait, no, I have Fae in the exile, so it doesn't matter. How much mana is this? 6 per tap? Yeah, that's plenty. I think I just win already. Shouldn't even be close. Alright, turn 3 kill to beat the turn 4 on the play by Legends. This is definitely not typical. But it's not too hard, I guess, if you have Sapphire, which I did have to top deck. So I was really lucky to win there. I feel like the turn 3 isn't that rare. If you go Sapphire, it's not that hard. You really just need Sapphire, Tide. You kind of have to have... you don't need actual Turnabout, actually. You can have Strings. And then you probably need Desire. But you can definitely dig into it if you have mana. Especially if you have Double Tide. It's really easy to do that. Double Tide, Strings, dig through time or something. Not dig. Probably Pieces or something. It's especially easy if you don't care about having that much storm for Desire. Or you're doing it without that much storm. So I'm bringing the Unable to Scream, the Brawl, the Gargoyle. Repeal is... Are they on Canonists? Is basically the question for Repeal. I feel like a lot of people have been. What am I siding out here? A planning up here. A strings, I guess. How am I siding this much stuff out? Like, the extra copies of Sapphire are not great when you're just siding pieces and digs out. I guess it's this. This might be too light on the draw. But there's really no other way to side in that many cards. That many answers. Which is maybe fine, you can just have more draw steps, I don't know. Sand is great if it draws a land. Like, the sand is actually so good if it draws a land. Has an answer to Thalia, has Sapphire, has Tide, has value. I might actually keep this. Like, I really wish just one of these Sapphires was a land or something, or the dig. I feel like I kind of want to keep this, because if they keep 7, that means that they probably have Thalia in hand. And how am I beating Thalia if I have a bad hand, a bad 6? Like a medium 6 is not beating Thalia. Though I could maybe try to find a good 6 instead of trying to find a land. So Gargoyle is not really what I want. It's not the worst though, especially since their start is pretty slow. Maybe I shouldn't even play it on the draw. I don't know, but why would you even play it in your deck then? Okay. They're on the play, and they keep 7 with only Rugged Prairie as a land. Like, that is not correct. Like, that is just not a keep. Like, you just need a turn 4 kill and you should win. I don't know why you would keep that. Like, I guess you have Thalia plus Canonist, but you still just can't keep that. You only have 1 draw to get it. And if you stumble, you're probably losing even with both Thalia and Canonist. Unless I keep this expecting my opponent to have a really good hand if they're keeping 7. So, who will find a land first? I have more lands in my deck, I'm pretty sure. So I am dead to Graveyard Hate. I don't think they have it though. So I have 23 lands. They probably have like 22, maybe less. They could have 20, actually. But, okay, there's an island. I get my Sapphire down. I should just win now, even if I find a land here. They kind of have to find a land or they just die right now. Let's see, yeah, and it's for another Rugged Prairie. So yeah, they didn't have a whole lot of... Like, they could have had maybe 16 lands that actually work here. And some of them might be tapped. So yeah, they definitely should not have kept that. So I take Tide, maybe. Tide Turnabout, sure. Look for a land. Okay. So yeah, it is pretty over. Yeah, I have no idea why they kept that at a 7 on the play. Like, all they need is a hand that wins on turn 4. Like, I guess they were scared because I won on turn 3 last game, but that's just not normal. There's no reason to go for it, even though I could. I guess it's really just if I'm afraid of silence. If they play a land and don't play a card as Sorcerer Speed, I am going to play around silence though. Because if they have 3 mana and they just don't use it. I mean, I don't know why they're complaining about this after keeping a Rugged Prairie as their only land on the play. in an aggro deck with probably 20 lands. Like, I think they only have themselves to blame. So yeah, 3-0. Alright, it is round 4, I'm 3-0. Probably locked for top 4 regardless. I don't know what they're playing. Lyris. I needed to check their history. I have no idea what this is. I think I'm gonna mull. It's probably some kind of aggro deck. This is much better. Could be some engineer deck, but it's probably not, I think. Okay, it's heroic. Repeal is great here. I wish I had anything that actually does something. Repeal is a cantrip though. Repeal is pretty good against them. Should stall them for a while. Like, they probably can't win until turn 6 if I repeal. But they could have an answer to it. Like Shard Mage's Rescue, which I could play around by hitting an aura instead. Ideally, I will just wait until they tap out, though. I also could just repeal this main phase. I don't think I'm going to do that, though. I feel like this is less of a heroic deck and more of an auras deck. Like, I don't think they play any heroic cards. It's just Scavenger, Spirit Dancer, SRAM. And then maybe some protection creature like Sylvan Safekeeper. That is unfortunate. I am going to play around Shard Mages. So they're playing... no, that doesn't mean anything. I probably should have put both on this one. I could definitely die next turn. Maybe should have main phased that repeal. I wasn't really expecting this. Yeah. I don't think I can ever try to go off here. But they always win, right? Like any aura, any enchantment is lethal. So maybe I play one Tide, repeal the Umbra, see if I can find something. If it's interaction, then... Wait, they could actually have named green. They probably should have too. So do I play Tide? Or do I just cycle? Because I could find Turnabout or something. I wish I would have done that differently now. So if I find Turnabout plus value, okay, single Turnabout does not do it. Yeah, that was so close to winning. Drawing pieces means that mana plus any kind of value probably wins. Like, all I needed to do was draw into a Desire or Memory or something. And that would have won. Yeah, so I should have won after drawing the pieces, but it was pretty lucky to draw the pieces anyway. I mean, I'm not technically dead yet. But any aura. I mean, I gave them an aura, so... If I drew Turnabout instead of the Lonely Sandbar, we could have done this again. Yeah. I'm not gonna bother making them do it. Yeah, and I wouldn't have even won next turn. Okay, so they're on Heroic. Yeah, I should have repealed main phase. It wouldn't have actually mattered though. I would have lost regardless with that draw. Brawl is probably good. Unable to scream is probably bad. Because it doesn't do anything about the auras. I don't think they'll have... Or I should check for silence or canonist. So, they might have 4 copies of silence. I'm not sure. It kind of depends what list they're playing. If they're net decking, it really just depends on the 5-0. Whether they have hate or not. Which kind of is the entire determinant of whether they win this matchup. Like, I think if they don't have silence in the side, I win this matchup. And if they do, they win. Okay. So it's a repeal plus commit. Yeah, they just have too many... They probably just have like Safekeeper as well. Although, if they're playing the enchantment creature, then they probably don't have Safekeeper. But the enchantment creature still does quite a bit against me. Though it's definitely worse because it costs mana, not because it's repeatable. Or not repeatable. I'm going to assume that they don't have silence. Because for one, I can't really beat it regardless. And for two, I think that if they're playing the enchantment creature, they're probably not playing silence. Based on who played silence in their 5-0s. Though it's possible that it isn't actually a nut deck, and they just did whatever with the sideboard. I might just lose regardless. Okay. Desire. Okay, I'm gonna need to find some things. So, they have hate for Sapphire. In the form of the aura that exiles something. And I assume they never side it out. Because Sapphire is a pretty big part of Tide. But maybe they didn't think about that. They just think of it as a only from hand deck. I don't know. Okay, so this is looking like a turn 4 kill. That is not what I want. Is this pieces? It could be commit. No, it has to be pieces, I think. And I'm gonna cycle the sandbar. Because if I commit, I just can't play memory without Tide. But it is kinda hard for me to win next turn with pieces. If I draw a Tide in the next 2 draws, that'd be great. But I could also draw a land, and then I could go pieces, Tide, strings. Okay, let's see what it is. I could also draw repeal and maybe have interaction, but it depends what they do. Okay. So they're definitely winning next turn if I don't do anything. And they're definitely not winning if I repeal, I think. And if they play something else, they probably win through a repeal, maybe. If they just play stuff on the scavenger. So they're holding up a white mana, which I'm going to assume is the aura, rather than a silence. Because there's nothing I can do if I have silence. Okay, Tide is a great draw. And I have repeal. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. I kinda have to. Because it really... Like, I'm never beating silence, but I could definitely beat a... And the only way I beat the Aura is with Tide, which I assume they have, or they would have played something. So I assume Repeal is not going to work. I forget the name. Shard Mage's Rescue. I assume they have that. Okay, those hits are not the best, but it's fine. I think it's just strings first. I don't think there's ever a downside to this. I play pieces, I need to hit something. That is not good. So now I need to planning into something. If I hit turnabout, I need to planning into an island. Okay. Can I hit something, please? It was pretty likely for me to win when I started going off. So, I have 3 man. So if I... No, I can never repeal, right? Because I can never win after that, and it doesn't even really work anyway. And I can repeal both, but I can't repeal Spirit Dancer twice. So, I have to play Pier, and what can I find? I have to find strings, I think. I always lose. I mean, I guess there's technically a way I can win with planning. If I find strings and then repeal into something. Yeah, I just found absolutely nothing. Like, it was really likely for me to win when I started going off, but yeah, I just found absolutely nothing off my draw. So yeah, I mean, this match doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure I make top 4 regardless. But yeah, this is not a matchup I expect to lose, that's for sure. Because all I have is a Goldfish while also being pretty weak to repeal. Though, with the recent cards, they really just aren't weak to repeal anymore. So. Alright, top 4. Somehow I'm destined to face Boros Legends multiple times a tournament. This might be the only Legends player in the tournament. Which is presumably my worst matchup. Though I did win in the Swiss and lose to Heroic. But there's no way Heroic is a worse matchup than this. But maybe they actually realize, because they don't get distracted from playing aggro deck. I don't know. Alright, I can't keep this. This is not very good. But I probably have to keep this. Okay, they have a 1-mana play. If they have Thalia, I might just concede. Because there's nothing I can do. I'll wait until their turn 3, but... Like, Thalia on the play should be unbeatable for Tide. But a lot of the times they just keep hands without any kind of plan, so it doesn't actually do a whole lot. I mean, I guess I could still draw a Sapphire and then win the turn after, by like top-decking Tide or something. Or just drawing another turnabout, something like that. They're playing Barbarian Ring. Interesting. I think that's wrong. I think you should be playing 4 pops in the side, so... They put Luris in hand. Okay. So they have absolutely nothing. That is interesting. So I need Tide. Maybe not. They might not even kill me on turn 5. Wait, what? They had to have something. There's no way they had 4 cards in hand and none of them did anything. Like, they're all lands. Or I guess Sheltered by Ghosts you don't want to play? Are they just... When... Did they top deck that? Because there is no way you put Luris in hand before that. Okay, I need to repeal. I am dead. I can't turn about. Yeah, that has to be a punt. There's no way they had absolutely nothing. Like, they actually had all lands, or duplicate legendaries, or Sheltered by Ghosts. Those are the only cards they would want to play Luris over. And had 4 cards in hand. So, slide in all of these. Cut a lot of random things. What did I cut last time? I guess it was a planning? Or it was another strings, maybe? Okay. Sand is really good for not having Sapphire. Easy turn 4 kill if they didn't have Thalia. Or Canonist. Barbering. Okay, they have the turn 1. I'm not repealing that. It's always Sapphire, right? They play Thalia, I still play it. Because I'm on the play. I have Canonist this time. That's why I held the repeal. And I can play this planning, which I have no reason not to do. Okay, so I should be able to end step repeal win. Let's see if they have Thalia. Okay, they shouldn't be able to kill me next turn. Putting me to 12. They have flowering. Okay, they play nothing, that's good. Okay, so I have to... I shouldn't be able to die ever. Though if they play flowering, I can't actually repeal, so if they have burst lightning, I might lose. Yeah, I do lose to flowering burst lightning if they play it, but they don't necessarily know that that's lethal. Okay, so I repeal the Canonist, and now I am forced to win next turn. No, I can turn about. Well, I have Canonist, so not really, but... So, I'm actually looking for a land, I think, by cycling Sandbar. Like, it's always land. Cycle the land over Appear, I think. Just because I really want to hit a land. Though I could just play the Sandbar. Okay. But with only 1 turnabout, that's not worth it. So I do just win now, I think. It's pretty hard to whiff with this hand. But game 3 is definitely going to be an uphill battle. Alright. So it is kind of impossible to lose here. I can go Desire, Commit, Memory. Which I will probably do. So I play Memory. And I find the Fae and win. Still no Fae. Okay, dig. So I find the Fae. And we are on to game 3. Alright. I don't think I sideboard. Yeah, they might have realized just how much worse Canonist is than Thalia. Not that Thalia would have done much there. It actually probably would have been basically the same as Canonist. Okay, this is a keepable hand. Okay, they kept 7, but considering what they kept last time, it might not be that good. But maybe they learned. Or maybe they think second time's the charm, I don't know. So hopefully they don't have Thalia. Though I can definitely win through it by going turn 3 Sapphire, turn 4 Repeal, or something like that. Turn 5 win. They don't have it, or they don't play it yet, which would be a mistake because you really want to keep Sapphire from coming down on turn 2 if you're on the play. So I should be able to stop the turn 4 lethal. Repeal might not be enough though. Okay, Canonist. Nice. That means they won't have turn 3 or turn 4 lethal. So, and it looks like they don't have Thalia. Presumably they would have played that instead of Canonist. But is there ever a reason to not cycle? There's never really a reason to cycle, so it's never lethal, right? I guess they could technically have Flowering plus a haste creature with land. Except that actually isn't possible. It would have to be an artifact creature, which does not exist with haste and legendary. So it's not possible for them to win unless they have like a protection spell or something. That is really annoying. And I can't even, yeah, that's why you don't cycle Landbar, I guess. Sandbar. So I have to hold a repeal. Yeah, so I'm gonna need to find a tide, which should actually have a pretty good chance of winning. They can't play Thalia. They can't really play anything right now, actually. I don't know why they're playing around Horned Lockwhale or something. That was a weird not attack. So it's like, there's a good chance they can't kill me, but also I would need to... Actually, I can go upkeep Turnabout and only lose to Burst Lightning, which I kind of have to do right now. Though it is going to make winning pretty impossible with this hand, because I drew absolutely nothing good. But yeah, I can go Turnabout for lands. And I'm going to need to find Tide, probably another thing as well. So I am dead to Burst. I don't think they even have Burst in. They might not even main deck it, I don't know. But they're even less likely to have it post board. Can I find anything? There's a Tide. I would have loved to find that before cycling. So it is always correct to play the dig first, I think. I can't Turnabout. So it has to be exactly Hidden Strings, but Desire never really wins. So I think I have to do this. Actually, Hidden Strings doesn't even get me enough mana for Desire. Okay, Hidden Strings would have worked with the Tide. So... I mean, I'm not dead, but there's nothing I can do. Yeah. I actually probably would have won if I found Tide before I cycled Sandbar. But, I mean, it was pretty lucky just to draw the Tide, though. I did get really unlucky with the draws before that. I just drew absolutely nothing before that. So yeah, 3 and 2. I lost to the deck I expected to lose to, which I have beat like 50% of the time, I think. So that's pretty good. I just only ever beat it in the Swiss and always lose in the rematch, which is unfortunate. But yeah, that is the tournament for me. Tide is surprisingly good. I'll just talk about that in the outro. Alright, so I went 3 and 2. I lost to Selesnya Heroic Enchantments, and then Boros Boros Legends in the top 4. I beat Boros Legends in the Swiss, and I beat Orzhov Control. What else did I beat? Gruul Ramp. So yeah, this deck kind of only loses to a few decks, but the problem is those decks are really popular. Though I feel like the matchups against them aren't that bad. I just need to not face Boros Legends a ridiculous amount of the time. See, I actually think this deck is surprisingly good. It actually might be the best deck in the format. Like, I have no idea what it would be if it's not this. I don't think it's Orzhov Control. I don't think that deck is that good. It could be Azorius Control, but that deck just has... The Tide matchup is just way too bad. It's also just not good enough into White Weenie. And maybe even Heroic. So I think this actually has a chance at being the best deck in the format. It's possible I bring it to the 500. I might just bring Azorius Control or something. I don't know, with like Canonist sideboard. And then I think Azorius Control does beat Orzhov Control if you don't play Trawlers. So it kind of only loses to Tide and White Weenie, and Boros Legends. And you can maybe make it even against Tide if you play Canonists. Which might mean it's just better than Tide because the bad matchups are White Weenie and Legends, which are the same as Tide. But Tide actually isn't that bad into anything else, I think. So it could actually be just a better Azorius Control. I don't know. So yeah, that is it for me. I did record the last 2 tournaments, and I won the Saturday tournament, or the Sunday tournament, I think. But I tried to edit the video, and I tried to fast forward through a certain part, and it became 60 gigabytes, so I couldn't upload that. And then Monday tournament, I didn't do too well. I don't know why I didn't upload it, actually. I don't think I recorded the entire thing. So yeah, I might post another High Tide video where I win, because I do really like this deck. I started playing this deck because I think it's fun, not because it's good, but I actually feel like it might actually be good now. So yeah, that is it for me.